and I spoke to my friends in India. We were on BBS, and we spoke about developing a complex language word processor, and they wanted to work on Japanese. I wanted to work on Urdu Nastaliq, and then I convinced them that Urdu Nastaliq is more difficult than Japanese, so we should combinedly work. I traveled to India. First ever in my life, the passport has visa for India, and that is when Kargil war was going on. The whole statement, and it's like, it's a 3 years consecutively I'm traveling back and forth to India to build this tool, which is called InPage. Anyone heard about InPage? So there are 2 Indians and 1 Pakistani. The Indian company is Concept Software, and I was there. I was the only person in the team who can read and write Urdu. They can't. Both the developers, R.P. Singh and Vijay Gupta, they can't read a word of Urdu. So I have been dictating this, and then we actually worked on another project with, they were Hindus and I was the only Muslim, and we worked on a project with Quran. We called Quran Calligraphic Research Project, and we had an idea that all the calligraphers will die and no new calligraphy will come. The calligraphy is dying. So what we did, we created the ligatures and stored them. So we had a Quran Pak in Shah Jahan's script. His handwritten script was scanned. There were other scripts which actually been. So this project is still running on in 7 different countries. But we didn't make any money out of these, so we moved on. So 99, the market is hit by a virus called Chernobyl virus. This is one of the biggest destruction that has happened in South Asia and Europe. Over 300,000 computers were affected. People lost their complete data. And I lost my data too. The problem was, I didn't want to build a solution for the world, but I want to retrieve my own data. So that is when actually I started reading the data patterns in magnetical structures of hard drives, because I only believed one thing, that it can't happen it can't happen that in 1 second the whole hard disk will be wiped off. The data must be there. It's there. I need to just get it out somewhere, somehow. So I started reading what are the file structures, and this is assembly language programming. And I have no educational background. Never been to any college or university or any teacher I had for learning how to write a code. And I'm doing assembly coding. And we built up a solution, we called it Pakistan. Interestingly, I was traveling to India, so I really have, with a free tool, we just flooded an Indian market called Pakistan, which will save your hard drive. So again, I was featured in CNN and BBC for the only solution in the world which can actually help you save or retrieve your hard drive. Before that, it wasn't possible. So, further accomplishments, I was the Minister to Revenue Punjab at the age of 20. Shahbaz Sharif, one fine day, reading newspaper, the news says, Hakumat mujhse taawun nahi kari. And it's like, who the hell is this guy? And then he calls me. And I went there, and he appoints me as the advisor to the Minister of Revenue, because the revenue land records were in Urdu. And I was the only one with Urdu solution in the world. So they had no other choice but to hire me. And then it's like, I've been advisor to Minister of Interior. Before that, I was advisor to Governor Sindh, General Moinuddin Haider. General Moinuddin Haider became Interior Minister, so I was transferred with him, and I was 21. 21, advisor to 2 ministers. At the age 22, I was a project manager of the world's largest software development consultancy called EDS. It's now bought by HP. And I was outsourced in UK to develop a feature in Photoshop, which was my own idea. Anyone use Photoshop here? You know Photoshop? Yeah. So there is a feature in Photoshop which is called actions. Anyone use the actions? There is a feature in Photoshop which is called actions. That is a feature which I built with their team, and I was awarded in 2001 in Computer Arts Live Show in London for that feature development. And then at the age of 23, I became the project director for Dubai Electronic Government. How interesting it was for my own self, who has no educational background, was a Urdu medium, doesn't know a word of English. How can that be possible? I still have no clue. Only thing is that I never gave up. Never gave up, never accepted failure. Never. So, I was posted in Dubai because I built something, and I'm the only one who has Arabic language, and electronic government project has to be done in Arabic, and EDS wants to pitch for it. And who am I competing? I'm competing with Microsoft, Sun Microsystems, IBM, HP, BEA. There were two more companies we were competing with, and they sent me to Dubai to bid for this project. It was 196 million dirham project. 196 million dirham. This is one of the largest. This is the amount they spent on their airport. So there were 97 government services to be brought online. So very interesting story. What happens is that I think that Sheikh Mohammed is being recorded. Okay, I don't care. I think Sheikh Mohammed can't be that smart that he can think of that vision that I will have this, electronic government project. So I explored that, went into the news about Sheikh Mohammed, and within that I found a history that he visits Singapore Electronic Government. So from Singapore Electronic Government, I actually had a friend who has citizen in Singapore. I got his citizen ID and password. I looked into the system. I downloaded through a crawler all the content there. There was another website called Ajib.com which will translate everything to Arabic automatically, machine. So I gave that, downloaded stuff to that website and again downloaded it, and then changed a few graphics in Photoshop and made it look like Dubai Electronic Government. So now I have a case study, a very interesting thing, that I didn't sleep for 7 days to actually make that presentation. And now this is the day I'm going to make presentation with Sheikh Mohammed. So what happens is, presentation is 9 o'clock. Farhan Masood doesn't wake up. The time I was supposed to be up around 7, and I had the finest Armani suit bought right 2 days ago, and my wardrobe, the best shirt, the cufflinks and the tie and everything. And then there I have an early morning barber appointment. You get appointments to get haircut there. So I had like 7 o'clock appointment with a barber, which was right next door. I was living in Jumeirah. So anyone who's visited Dubai, I was living in Jumeirah, right very close to Jumeirah Mosque, where Jumeirah Mosque is across the sea. And there's a palm strip shop here. So I didn't wake up, and then I wake up and it's like, it's 8:52. And the presentation, with my number is the first one, starts in 8 minutes. How am I going to do it? So I just look at myself. Farhan, there is a car key hanging, and driver is missing. I've been searching driver, I can't find the driver. I just think, Farhan, you will be eventually kicked out of this country anyway. So you should take the risk of driving. So I took the key and then I thought, I'm not ready.